Hey guys, Eric Bray, Table Rock Fishing Intel here for Jewel Bait Company. I want to talk to you a little bit about the Gem Blade. That is the spinnerbait that Jewel Bait Company has been making for a couple of years now. They've got the original Gem Blade and then they have the 2.0. The one we're throwing, the one we're using today is the original Gem Blade. Let me show you some of the features of this bait. First off, you'll notice it doesn't have a traditional lead head. It has got a plastic encapsulated lead head to give it a much more natural appearance than any paint. It's clear, it's got the nice eye on it, plus it's got a little bit of orange there on the bottom. Then you'll notice there's no skirt on this bait. This bait uses a Kitech swim bait, and it does come with the Kitech swim bait attached. The nice thing is, after you've caught a few fish and they've destroyed your Kitech, you get out a 3.8 Kitech, you can put it right back on there and your bait's good to go. It's not going to deteriorate like the spinnerbait skirts tend to in your tackle box. Next thing I want to show you is the short arm. A lot of spinnerbaits will have an arm that'll come, 3-4 inches out of the head of the body and then go back another 3 or 4 inches. This bait has a much more compact profile. A lot better to throw through cover, a lot tighter bait. It really mimics the bait fish a lot better being this small. It looks like a really small, tight group of bait fish. All quality components put together great, has a very sharp mustad hook in it. Definitely one of the best spinnerbaits on the market component-wise and design-wise. It does a lot of things that other spinnerbaits can't do. So we're going to work our way down this ledgy bank. See if we can't pick one up. We've got 2 or 3 transitions, plus we've got some standing timber and a little bit of buckbrush down through here, and there's a brush pile or two as well. They may be a little bit too deep, but there's also some laydowns because the wood is really important this time of year. Seems like the fish really want to hang on wood even more than they do points or specific types of rock. They like that little bit of wood that they can hide behind and then ambush bait fish or crawdads or whatever. I really like the Gem Blade, especially the big one, the original Gem Blade versus the 2.0, which is a smaller version. This time of year, it's the right size. I'm trying to key on where the gizzard shad are, and this is a bigger bait. It's a little bit bigger than the 2.0, but it's still a really small frame. So it comes through cover really well. It's fairly heavy wire, so it doesn't bend real bad. You don't wind up straightening it out on a fish, but it's the right size, and the best thing about it is the way it comes through cover. I can throw it basically right into a brush pile and slowly work it through the brush pile and not have to worry about having the bait hang up. And it has a very natural appearance with the Kitech swim bait on it. It looks like a gizzard shad, and that's what the bigger bass are feeding on this time of year. The gizzard shad will move up on these rocks and the bass will follow them, and it's just a matter of finding those areas where you've got the rock and a little bit of wood for those fish to kind of hide and ambush the gizzard shad when they move up to feed on the rocks. Fish on. Good one too, I think. There we go. Solid fish. Came right off of that ledge rock. He came right off that ledge rock on a little point over here. I kind of slowed the bait down a little bit and was slow rolling it, keeping it a little bit closer to the bottom, and he just came up and ate it. So good fish on a good bait. Let him go. When you take a bank like this where you've got these busted rocks, big rocks, you've actually got some other transitions mixed in. You can see we go from some really big ledge rock here to some busted rock, and then it's almost turns into gravel when we get up by that sycamore tree there. And then there's some scattered wood all down this. You've got laydowns, you've got standing timber, you've got some pole timber. This is really an ideal type of bank for throwing the Gem Blade on because it gives you all those options and it helps you to pare down where these fish are going to be. Are they on laydowns today? Are they on these transition areas where it goes from big rock to small rock to gravel? Or are they on the straight up and down, almost straight up and down vertical bluffs? It really helps to run down a bank like this, make a few casts, see where you're getting bites. You know, are they on points? You know, they may not even be on this whole stretch until I get up to where that little sycamore is, and I've got a little point that sticks out. Always keep looking for those different areas where you're going to find these fish. And if you can find a bank like this where you've got several different types of cover, several different types of rock or gravel or whatever, that can really help you pare down where you're going to find the fish at and really shorten your learning curve, and also make it easier for you to get a set pattern to fish the rest of the day. So a bank like this is really one of my favorite types of banks to fish when I'm throwing the gem blade. Yep, he came back. He came back and got it. Missed him the first time and he came back and hit it again. I don't think he's very big, but he is a fish. Well, maybe not. I think he's pretty decent. How about that? Looky there. Missed him the first time. He came back and hit it again. Either that or there's a group of them right there on that point. A nice clean back of a creek fish. You know, he's not huge. He's probably 15 and a half, but he's got a real solid belly on him. So he'd be a good tournament fish. No way around it. He's 2.5, maybe 2 3/4 pounds. It's a good fish. I'd take 5 of those in a derby. Right there on the gem blade. A little bit of wind, a little bit of rock, a little bit of wood. That's what you're looking for. The beauty of this gem blade is I can essentially fish it like you would a jig. I can throw it right in the heart of this laydown and just kind of work it over each individual limb. Kind of not really slow rolling it because it's only about 5 or 6 feet deep right here. And I can just work it over the limbs like I am right here. Just lift it up over and then let it flutter back down on the back side of the limb where a bass could be hiding. So it's a lot more versatile of a bait than a lot of spinnerbaits are. A lot of spinnerbaits with the bigger frames and the longer hook shank and everything on them, you can't do this with. But this right here, I'm basically fishing this like I would a jig or even a bladed jig, and just swimming it through this laydown and picking the entire thing apart, trying to see if there's any fish hiding behind one limb or the other. Makes it a lot easier to fish really heavy cover. Something that you don't, I mean, you can do it with some other spinner baits, but this one really great in open water, but it really shines when you get around some of this really thick, gnarly looking stuff. Besides just having the shorter arm, which makes, you know, that really protects that hook, the fat body of that bait also keeps it from rolling over when you bring it over top of something. When you bring it over, and it's still got plenty of action as you're moving it. I mean, I'm just basically lifting and dropping this over top of each limb. And every time it drops, the blades are turning almost instantly, and that tail's kicking. So if there's a bass in there, and he's even remotely hungry, he's going to see that and he's going to react to it. And he's going to come up and eat that thing. So it's definitely a versatile bait. It's more than just a spinner bait. I fish it a lot, especially in the fall. It's just a matter of making that right pitch or right cast. I mean, I'm not even casting this. I'm pitching it just like I would a jig around this laydown. Fish. And then just like that, he came off the back side of that piece of wood. Not a keeper, but still a good healthy fish. And all I did was just like I was saying, bring it over top of the lay down and let it flutter back down. I let that flutter back down and he came out from underneath that lay down and just hammered it. Just absolutely hammered it. There was no doubt there was a fish there right then. This is a devastating bait when it comes to fishing the backs of creeks or fishing around boat docks. This fall, you need to get your hands on some of these gem blades, and the best place to do that is to go to jewelbait.com. They've got them in stock. They'll get them shipped out right away for you. Pick out the colors you want. Again, like I said, you can change the tail if you want to, but go to jewelbait.com to pick up your gem blades.